What's good, guys? This is Coach Steve with I Love Basketball TV, coming to you live from my little apartment to bring you a home jump technique workout that you can do to improve your technique and jump higher. So let's freaking get it. So before we get started, I don't want this to distract you the entire video. I thought this was a drawer. It's just decoration. I ripped it off the wall. Quarantine is going okay? We got the beard long. I need a haircut. I'm in my apartment. I'm making this video because I don't want to lose my balance. Something I can work on is my technique. It doesn't really take much space. You could do it anywhere, and there's a lot of different things you can do. So today I'm going to talk about the proper technique you need to jump high by maximizing your movements, your body positioning, transitioning that motion forward, upward, and then I'm going to give you some exercises to really hammer home that technique. All right, so 2-foot jumping, some proper technique is as follows. You're going to be coming into your jump with a long penultimate stride. This is the penultimate step. If I'm a right-left jumper, that means right foot plants, left foot plants again, jump up, correct? So what that means is this left foot pushing off into that penultimate step. This step right here, that long stride you see me do, if you've watched my videos, you see a giant stride. The reason my stride is so big is because I have a lot of speed coming in and I'm a short dunker. So as I need a lot of speed and a big penultimate to really transition that speed upwards. So you want a big penultimate step, plant, head up, chest up, and jump up. So there's a lot of connecting factors in there. I'm going to start from head and go down. So one main thing I want you to realize is that your head keeps the rest of your body in line. So always be looking up. When you're doing these drills, I want you to be looking up as high as you can. Eyes up, head up, chin up. What that does is that keeps your head and your neck up and everything, and including your chest, which is very important because I see a lot of people going to jump and they want to load up. Trust me, I do the same thing, and the problem with that is you're going to be jumping this way. You're not going to be aiming your force up. So this is incorrect. They jump and they're like this. And then they want to jump. And I understand because you want to load up. But a quick key that you can work on is just always look up, even just taking a little step like this and looking up, just a reminder, look up, okay? So what that does is you get into your plant, you're looking up the whole time, this is up, the chest is up, and when your chest is up, you're in proper position to really transfer that momentum and jump straight up, okay? So you want your chin up, chest up, and you want to keep your hips in line. You don't want them to be forwards. You don't want to pass your plants. You don't want to be too far behind your plants. You want them to be almost a straight line through. So when you plant, keep your hips here. Chest up, boom. The other thing about the penultimate step is that knowing that you're supposed to keep your chin up, your chest up, and your hips in line, when you take that penultimate step, you can work on getting it very solid. So that's going to be our first exercise, which is taking a big penultimate step, but staying upright, keeping your chest upright, and building that stability in this position. So an exercise you can do is just take a big penultimate stride and stop. So don't jump and just jab into it like this. Okay? Arms go back for the timing and the rhythm. So that way when you come for your jump, penultimate, back, up. So the cues are chin up, chest up, and just try to focus on the length and the speed of that penultimate. Okay. So the penultimate, feel that's how it feels where you're stopping over the right part. Because if you're going like this and you're falling like this, that's one mistake. Or if you're like, you don't want to jump into it either. It's supposed to be a smooth step. And then you can do left, right as well. Boom. Another piece to your jump technique is the plant and the takeoff. The plant, you want it to be after your penultimate step, plant. Your feet should be almost simultaneous. It should sound like just like that. So you can work on just that speed. So what I say about that is kind of drop off something and like this. Okay? So you don't even need any equipment and you can just work on that plant speed. Now when you come through your penultimate step, you want that big step. You don't want it to be a hop like that. That's going to lose a lot of force that you can be providing upwards. You want it to be a smooth, big step. And you might become airborne. Like if you watch my big penultimate step, it might go in the air. It's not like I'm taking one step like this. But the point is you're not jumping up into it and landing into it. So connecting everything back, chin up, chest up, hips in the right position, big penultimate stride, fast takeoff, fast plant. Very, almost simultaneous, you want those feet. So, and then the other key factor is the arms go back. So you have the rhythm of the whole jump. So you can work on, so my focus with this, the point is, whoo, okay. So doing all these things, you might want to work on these, on this plant, but you can work on each thing. You can work on starting from just the chin up. So just a little bit penultimate, keep the chin up. And then make sure your chest is up too. Engage your core. Engage your core. Okay. Now add a big penultimate and see if you can stay over your hips. Chin up, chest up, engage core, hips, big penultimate. Okay, feel good. And then add speed and an even bigger stride and see if you can get this super fast with all the rest of the things in line. Okay, I fell a little bit there. Better. Okay, whole time looking up, feeling bouncy. All right, another exercise you can use is a ledge. Use your couch, use a chair, and you can focus on that speed of your takeoff by just stepping off. Woo! So by stepping off, okay, let your right foot land a little bit sooner so you feel that speed, and you can build that absorption factor, okay? You don't want too high of a box. This is about a good height, almost too high. It's more about the focus of feeling that simultaneous absorption of your penultimate step. So we're simulating that, adding a little bit of height, so that way you can build up what your body can withstand. So when you take that big, strong penultimate step, it can absorb it a little bit better. So this is an exercise where you literally just step off and make sure to absorb. Same thing as if you're penultimate. Hips aligned, stable core, chest up, chin up. Okay? I'm gonna do left, right now. All right, and think like you're about to jump, but you don't even need to. We're just focusing on the technique, and the reason why I say just focus on your technique is because that's what you wanna work on. If you're trying to jump your highest, you're gonna put a lot of effort in, and you might break down on some technique, but while you're at home, if you already did your other workouts, this is the time to work on technique, so put your focus there. Don't worry about jumping high, don't worry about jumping hard. Just focus on the speed and the technique, so that way you hammer home those details and they start to carve patterns in your body that you don't have to do every single time you jump. You don't have to think about it anymore. It just becomes your natural patterns and you do it as a routine. And that way you can build upon it and then you add speed. Then you push hard with proper technique, maximizing your jumping. So another workout you can do for your jump technique to hammer home those points I was just talking about is the dorsiflexion, which is your foot. You want your foot to be up. My wrists are not flexible. Okay, anyway, if I want to dance, I got to get my wrists flexible. Okay, in dorsiflexion, it's your foot's like this. You don't want it like this, you want it like this. So when you run, you want it like this. And when you jump, you want to plant like this. Okay, so you want that dorsiflexion position to be strong. So this exercise called the Pogo Hops will help you emphasize that dorsiflexion control. And what you want to do is you're just going to jump in place and very little knee bend. I'll show you like this. I'll do a couple simulations, a couple of different, very little knee bend is what I'm trying to say. And you're going to focus on just bouncing as fast as you can off the ground. You don't want to load up, but you just want to jump. This is kind of it without it, and land on the balls of your feet and really try to just push off and feel that spring. And your goal is to get off the ground as quick as possible. Not necessarily jump as high as you can, but push yourself to jump as hard as you can, but the goal is the speed off the ground. So here we go. And the other thing to reiterate is keep your chest high, look up the whole time, keep your chin up, and use your arm swing in rhythm. So I'm going to do it a couple times this way and sideways so you can see the difference. So it starts with a little rhythm, and then I'll build up effort. I'm actually pretty close. Okay, now one more time from the side so you can see. Very little knee bend. Again, warm up to this. You really want to focus on landing on those balls of the feet, exploding up, and very little knee bend. Pop. Really feel that pop. This not obviously works on your jump technique because it's helping that quick dorsiflexion action, but it's also just a very fun workout to do because it makes you feel super bouncy. So if you're doing this and you don't feel as bouncy as me, don't feel bad. I'm an explosive man. If you don't feel as bouncy as me, I've been doing it for a long time. This is like where I'm most explosive, is that elasticity. But some people, this is a great point of the technique as well. With these exercises with the jump technique, you also learn about your body. So just as another side note is like all these exercises, if you feel slow, it's a good indicator that you're strong, but maybe you don't have the elasticity to do this, which is why these exercises are great, not only for jump technique, but helping that bounciness, that explosive elasticity. Back to the side view of the Pogo Hops. All right. Oh, I'm actually trying to touch it. I think I want to touch it with my hair. Another huge factor that gets overlooked is the core. So I'm going to give you ways to engage your core, but I also want you to work on it and get it strong because it's the connecting factor from your toes to your upper body, and your whole body relies on your core to absorb, like we talked about, and to explode. So you need that core strong. So going back to the penultimate jab, engage that core, flex it, flex right here, like, right? Feel it, you can flex it now and do it, just for some body awareness, right? But here are some of my favorite core strengthening exercises you can use to strengthen it, obviously, and get stronger in that position so your body can maximize your jumping. The first one is just a simple plank. I like to put my arms here because it's the hardest. Now, you don't want to keep your butt low and you don't want it too high. The best way I've had success with this is putting it at a place where it hurts the most or where you feel the most tension or it's the hardest on your abs. The point being is that this is a body weight exercise and your body subconsciously is going to want to avoid that pain. So wherever your body can contort to make the exercise easier, it's going to do it. I know you're not trying to cheat the exercise, but be aware of that. And that way you can strengthen the muscles that you're trying to hit without compensating and using your back. Try to feel where your abs and your core are getting worked the most. Okay, and now the side plank. So you did that, put your feet on the sides like this, arm on the ground, and do this. And you could move a little bit, but just keep it up and hold, and you'll feel it more on this side over here. But keep this butt high. Ooh. And also you can breathe and flex the core to see where you feel it. And then you could also just keep moving back and forth. So you do the other side and just keep moving. This, put your arm up. Then I also like to do this. Just keep moving. This makes it a little bit harder. I prefer to make the exercise more moving and make it harder because I rather do it a short time and get it strong than hold it for a long position. But I do both because it's good for my mental to just hold it there and push myself to sit there for 2 minutes, but it's tough. But those are something you can do anywhere, and it's really good to strengthen that core. Not only is the plank good for strengthening and you need a strong core, but it's good for stability. A lot of that holding is just good for stability, which is similar to strength. Strength lets you produce more power, but the stability allows you to hold on to this position. So you really want to hold that position for 2 minutes if you can. It's a really big goal. Shoot for a minute at first. I know that's a big jump, but try to hold it as long as you can because you're going to start hitting other muscles in your lower back. And when you're focused on just staying still, I'll do it when I talk so I don't have to just talk about it, I be about it. When you're just holding it, standing still like this, you feel the muscles firing, you build that awareness, and it builds that stability. And you start to feel the different obliques, the different core muscles holding your position stable. And your body starts to understand what it means to hold it stable because you're just holding. So then for that quick moment of when you jump, it's able to really hold everything in place and everything stable. Plus, you get to feel shredded and good about yourself. Let's go. Another exercise you can do for that dorsiflexion in your ankles, which is a huge part of your jump, is resistance bands, ankle movements, but you can use a sock as well. Like I have a little towel here. This one's a little bit too small, I think, but I'll give you an example with this. So in case you don't have a resistance band, you just hold this. So you want a longer towel, but even this, I might be able to do it. Kind of just push it against, hold some resistance and flex it. You want a longer towel. Most likely you have a longer towel, but with the resistance band, it's a lot easier. Hold it. I'll just move this leg out of the way. And just strengthen that ankle. By doing these exercises, I haven't rolled my ankle since 2013. I'm gonna give you a quick story while I do this. So first of all, you can do that. Then you could turn it like this and go to the side, all different angles. And then you want to tie it on something. I'm not going to do it completely, but you get the point. You go like this and you pull it this way. But wrap it around something and pull back this way so you can strengthen the ankle coming this way. So quick story while I do this exercise for you is that I used to wear high top shoes and I broke my ankle playing basketball. And coming back from that, I wondered, how did people wear low tops? I had no clue. I was like, I roll my ankle with high tops. So I'm like, I gotta be missing something. So one day I wore my high tops. I don't know what gave me this idea, but I loosened this, I loosened the laces at the top of the ankle. And by doing that, I was careful because I was afraid to roll my ankle since my shoes were half untied. And I played basketball that day lightly. And after the gym that day, I felt soreness in my ankles. And that was the day I realized my ankles were weak. So after that day, I started doing ankle exercises and wearing low tops over time. And my ankles are strong and flexible that even though I rolled my ankle playing basketball again, since it was strong and flexible, I would roll my ankle the same way I used to take me out for weeks because I would have an ankle sprain. That ankle movement was so strong that I would roll my ankle, land on someone's foot, and I wouldn't even have to stop playing. It would hurt a little bit, but like it was just a little bit of like just a bump. That's all it was. And I've been wearing low tops since, and I've never had an ankle sprain, knock on wood. But the point is, it's not just that I'm lucky anymore, it's that my ankle's strong in that position, so it's not like a really weak muscle that's easily sprained. All right, so what I want to leave you with today is how to use all of these things we just learned in a full approach jump so you can use them and maximize and jump your very highest. So what we talked about is the penultimate step, but beyond that is your full approach. So the main thing is your rhythm. You want to come in with 3 steps max, should be what your max approach should be. Sometimes I run a little bit more, run a little bit too fast, but what I want you to know is that you never should stutter steps. So you can go outside if you have a little bit more space in this, take a few more steps, but start with 1 step at a time. So for example, I was doing my penultimate step, left foot into my right foot, into my right left takeoff. So 1, right? But now I could add 1 more step. So that was 1 step takeoff, right? Add 1 more step, so it's a 2-step takeoff. So my left foot first, left penultimate takeoff. Okay? So be boom. So what you can do is focus on that left foot or the foot before your penultimate and then really push off that one. So left, boom, and really push off that one, because when you're standing still and you push off, you can get a good force into your penultimate, but if you have room to do a little bit, 1 more step, it's the great connector to the full approach, and you can continue that up until about 2-3 steps is as max as you need to really go. You don't really need more than 3 or 4 steps to maximize your speed and jump your highest. So if you can take this outside, if you have enough room to do a couple more steps, I think you should really think about just the first step first, which is your second to last step before your penultimate, and push it off, boom. Like that, I have no room, I'm gonna run through the wall. But you see how hard I pushed off that penultimate? I took that left step and pushed off so hard into that penultimate. So you can work on that connector, not your connector for your upward momentum, but as you're walking into your plant, you're gonna really push off the penultimate. You could really strengthen how much force you put on that penultimate step. So that being said, that's the 2-step jump. 1 penultimate takeoff. 1 penultimate takeoff is the 2-step jump, and then you could add 3. So if you have more room, 1, 2 penultimate, okay? And that's the next step I would say you can take home with you and work on. So start with a very small thing, just to recap: head up, chin up, chest up, core, hips, big penultimate step, fast takeoff, arm swing, okay? And then when you do that first, work all the way backwards from that, even from just the takeoff, even from just standing right here, boom, and working on that takeoff. Ready? Boom, okay? And that's how you're gonna make long-term progress, by working on the tiniest detail first and working it all the way up into a full approach. So that way when you connect it all, there's nothing but pure efficiency in your jump, in your technique. And that's how you translate all this energy upwards, fly high, and bang that thing. We are getting that technique on point. Yo, I hope you learned something from today's video. If any questions at all, anything you'd like to see from me or one of the other coaches, please leave it down below in the comments. That's the best way we can provide the best content for you. And we make videos every single week. So if you're new, subscribe and stay tuned. I'm excited to bring you more energy from my little apartment. I'm quarantined too, so I really hope to share more information with you, get you jumping higher, stay strong, stay active, and let's put in that work.
Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. I OD. Apply pressure, put heat